Yeah, and absolutely. And I think that that's an interesting conversation too, because there has been a lot of progress and there has been a lot of movement and a lot of change in like the actual physical tattoos on educators. And I think
Hmm.
that's because we're all willing to ask the question why. Like that's the biggest question that we ask in any class, right? Like whether it's math or science or social studies or anything, we're all just looking to figure out how we fit in the overall universe of things, right? Like we want to know where we fit and how we all work together on a scientific basis, on a sociological basis. Like that's what we want. Like we want to know how we fit and how we work. And so the progress of being able to uh, comfortably physically wear tattoos into the classroom is moving in a way that is far more important than the tattoos themselves because it's asking a bigger question. Like we ask the question, how much of who we are do we bring into the work?
Yeah.
And if you have a great teacher who just happens to be tattooed and you're asking the question, you know, can you cover up this tattoo? Should you wear longer shirts? Should you only get tattoos in spots that you can cover up and things like that? Uh, Then you're asking the question, who are the humans that we let do the teaching and why? Like, and I think that in and of itself is an important question to ask because if you're a teacher, if you're a young cat who's looking to get into the game and you have a tattoo and that's part of the thing that you're thinking about, then you really need to ask the question of the system too. Like it's not just about looking at yourself and being like, how do I make myself more comfortable for
Hmm.
the system? How do I make myself more acceptable for the system? You need to be asking the question, why did we even have these standards in a system that is designed for humans, right? It's
Yeah.
designed to teach people how to be like really at the end of the day, the school system is about taking humans and teaching them how to exist among other humans and contribute to a society in some way, right? And
Yeah.
some of those things, it's going to look like engineers and it's going to look like doctors and it's going to look like, uh, you know,
Teachers.
cowboys and like it's a million different things and it's going to look
Yeah.
like jobs that we don't even think of yet because technology is
Hmm.
moving so darn fast. But it's really important to ask those questions. Like if you are a young cat trying to get into the game and you're thinking about, is it going to be okay that I have this tattoo? Then you need to ask yourself the big questions too of like, if I'm questioning what it's okay for me to look like and what it's okay for me to be in this situation, then aren't my students asking themselves the same question? You know, because we're all human beings. So if you're put in a situation where you're asking yourself, do I look right for this job? Am I meeting a standard that is set by somebody else in a way that sort of makes me hide who I am authentically or even sort of like taper who I am authentically? Then you got a lot more questions to ask
Yeah.
too. And I think that that's great because every system should be questioned in its way to doing things. Like and I should say too that authenticity shouldn't make other people feel uncomfortable either. Like if you're asking yourself the question like, do I have a tattoo that makes other people feel uncomfortable and that's why I shouldn't be a teacher? Why are
Oh,
you carrying that story?
yes.
Like and I don't mean that like why are you doing this? I mean it like really reflecting on all these pieces is really important because the more you look back at yourself, the stronger you make yourself as an educator, right? Like it's the more you are allowed to question the things that you are doing, not only are you making yourself stronger, but you're also like you're modeling that for students too. You're modeling the ability
Exactly.
to look at yourself and go, well, why am I doing these things? And if there are people who are questioning what I am doing, do I stand behind those things? Because honestly, I stand behind every tattoo I have, and if there's somebody who wants to say, you know, maybe you should cover up as a teacher, like then why don't you want the stories that I'm wearing? Because like I'll tell you the story
Exactly.
behind every single one of them, and I'm very comfortable, like K to 12, if a student comes up and goes, well, why do you have that on your arm?
Yeah.
Great question. you know? I have this, you know, beautiful piece on my arm that's like that's a anatomically correct heart that is pumping flowers out the top because
Yeah.
that has to do with when I went into to get chemo, right? When I had this
Oh.
doctor who explained it as like, you're going to be pumping poison through your veins for a while, and then you're not. You're going to be, and then you're just going to be pumping new life through there.
Mm.
And I was like, that's really important for me to carry that message of like every single pump, every single heartbeat from now
Wow.
on, I'm going to remember that I'm pumping life. So if I'm going into a job, into a situation where I've got that tattooed on my arm and somebody's like, we don't want that message because of the culture around tattooing, then maybe the system needs to
Listen.
question itself a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, because that's a there's a lot of pieces of that story. And I've had, little guys in the hallway ask me about that tattoo, and then I tell them the story and they're like, "Oh yeah, you know, my aunt just went through this, or my
Yeah.
cousin just did this," and like, "Oh, that's fun," or "I saw that flower outside in the yard." And then we talk about flowers and we
Yeah.
talk about the science behind that, and
Yeah.
like there's just no bad piece to it, right? And I think that's a really important piece too, because I hear you. Yeah, I've talked to other educators with this book as well, and they're like, I love the metaphor of teaching as a tattoo, but I work in a school system where I've actually had people tell me, you know, don't don't visibly show your tattoos. And
Yeah,
the thing that
exactly.
I tell them is that like if they're questioning that, you should be questioning them and having these conversations, because students deserve that. It's not a
Yeah.
selfish thing to question a system and be like, well, how can I make the system more comfortable for me? But if a system is questioning who you are as a human and what you're bringing to the work, then you should be asking that question back of the system, and like, what kind of messages are
Hmm.
we sending to the kids about their own authenticity? You know?
Exactly. That's another one. And that's a fact. That's a fact. That's one of the things that I actually just feel it because it is so wrong. I mean, at least have the decency just to ask. I mean, what does that tattoo mean? Before actually start like judging and
Exactly.
say, why you wearing? I don't want you to use it. I don't want you to show it actually to the class or whatever, or just cover it. Some of them actually
Yeah.
they make you feel even ashamed about it. Oh, shame
Well,
on
and
you.
it's
How
interesting
how how
too
is it?
because it's it's really interesting too, because there's a lot of very deeply cultural pieces that revolve
Hmm.
around tattoos as well. So like if you dig into the history of tattoos and dig into the culture of some of tattoos, like having a system that has rules in place around tattoos could end up excluding some teachers based on a cultural basis. Like there are some people who get tattoos because that is deeply, deeply entwined in their culture. Like I have
Yeah.
worked with like as an
Some
indigenous person
Samoans, right?
who works, yeah, Samoans, as an indigenous person who has worked with a lot of different uh you know groups of people here in my work. I've worked with many people who have, very important cultural tattoos on their face. And
Mm.
we're talking about like elders, very,
Oh.
you know, old, wise, wonderful humans. And like you're not going to tell them that it's our policy,
Hmm.
like, oh, we can't work with you because, you've got a
You got a
culturally
tattoo.
significant tattoo on your face. And like all of those pieces, and I'm not saying that there's any sort of rule or regulation that's ever going to be universally good, but asking those questions is always going to be important. You know,
Exactly.
what are we
Minimum.
missing
That's the
out?
minimum.
Yeah, what are we missing out on when we don't ask people enough about who they are? You know, like if you see a tattoo, or if you see, whether it's a tattoo or whether it's a student who's carrying like a sad face, or carrying like a backpack of a character they like, or like anything like that, care enough to ask those questions, right? Instead of creating like a universal assumption about anything,
Exactly.
tattoos are an invitation.
Definitely. They are an invitation.
Use or facial expressions, or clothing, or any sort of other fashion choice, or anything that a person carries with them. Or as a teacher, we all have these little tchotchkes and trinkets in our classrooms and things like
Yeah.
that too. If you care enough to ask about things, there is so much power and connection there. And that's the biggest metaphorical piece for me about those tattoos is that like it's not just the tattoo, it's not just the toy, it's not just the backpack, it's not just the clothing, it's not
It's
just
the
the fashion, it's
store.
not just the
Hmm.
facial expressions, it's the why. It's the why
Yeah,
behind everything. And if you care
exactly.
enough to ask people their why of the why do you carry this story? Why do you
Hmm.
carry this thing? Why do you care enough about this moment, right? Then it opens up everything. Like I mean, think about sports teams. It's the easiest connection in the world when I
Yeah.
see students and they walk down the hallway and they're wearing their logos of their favorite sports teams and I go, "Oh, hey, are you a fan?" And they go, I'm not a fan, but my
What do you
dad
think?
is." And then you're having a full conversation about this.
Oh,
Or like, oh yeah, I got this shirt when last summer when, me and my aunt went to go see a game and I like that now you know more about them. So
yeah.
it's not just about tattoos and I've always like the metaphor of it is really important. But like as
Hmm.
long as you are asking questions and caring enough to hear about the answers, then the stories that people carry are infinitely valuable. Infinitely.
Definitely. So in this book, was there any chapter or like a story that was emotionally difficult for you to write or something?
Uh I wouldn't say emotionally difficult to write. Um, because the tattoos I carry, some of them are happy and some of them are stories that are very difficult for me to carry. But all of the tattoos that I have are stories and lessons that I think are really important for me to carry. But then as I'm like I spent a lot of time reaching out to teachers to talk about their tattoo stories and to hear about their tattoo stories. And a lot of them were just wonderful and inspirational and things like that. But I think that the hardest thing emotionally for me to write in this book was that I want teachers to see themselves in this book, even if they're not tattooed. Like every single page that I wrote, I had this real sort of pang in my heart a little bit where I was like, there are some teachers who are going to walk by this book and they're going to go, well, that's a cool idea, but I don't have any tattoos,
Hmm.
And I just every time I wrote, I was like, I hope that everybody who is an educator at some point gets to understand that like the tattoos are a metaphor for everything that you carry into the room. Like it always broke my heart a little bit that I was going to come across some teachers who were like, "Oh, well, I don't have any tattoos." So
Yeah.
that part was kind of difficult for me to write because
That,
I never want anyone to feel like they're not part of the story and not part of the journey. Like I want everyone to know that like there's billions of people on the planet and I wish I could sit down and break bread with every single one of them and have a little chat with all these wonderful human beings. So that's the part that was emotionally difficult for me to write about the book was that like I just want people to understand that as much as this is about tattoos, it's not. It's about every single story that everyone carries. Like I
yeah,
wish I could look every teacher in the face and look them right in the eye and say, regardless of whether or not you have a single tattoo on your skin, I see that you are a human who carries stories into the work and carries experiences into the work. And I love really important. Like as soon as somebody looks you in the eye and tells you, you as an individual make the teaching job better, you like you you, you do good work because you're you. You talked about young teachers earlier, and I think that the biggest thing for young teachers is they try to figure out what people want them to be, right? It's
mhm,
hard to figure out what a good teacher looks like because it looks like so many different things, especially when you're young and you
exactly.
have all these different great examples working hard around you. But like I just wish I could look everyone in the face and like look them right in their gorgeous eyes and say, listen, like you are here because you are a human doing human work, and that's what the book is about. The book is saying, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm not perfect, and I'm not, you know, teacher X down the hall and teacher Y in the other part of the building. I'm me, and that's why I'm gonna be good at this,
Exactly.
and I think that that's what unlocks the superpowers that you mentioned earlier, you
That's the
know?
legacy.
So that's yeah. And I mean, I should say too that the other part that is emotionally difficult about writing the book is knowing that it only has a certain amount of pages. And they're like people underestimate the amount of teacher tattoo stories that are out there. Uh, like after this book published, the amount of people who have connected to me in some way, shape, or form, social media or conferences and presentations and all
Yeah.
that jazz, like and they've been like, this is my tattoo and I carry it for this. And
So
I wanted to
cool.
show you this. And like, I just wish I could have, like, we could write 10 volumes of this book that's all just
Wow.
pictures of teacher tattoos that are like wonderful, wonderful stories that they've told. And I want them. Yes. Like if you reach out to me on social media and tell me your tattoo story. And I just love it. Like I want to hear them all. Like like I've said it too many times already in this conversation. If I could stop time and have conversations with every human being about the stories that they
You
lived, like
you will
that's,
do it definitely.
I would. It would. But, like it makes us all richer, you know?
Exactly. They tell us to fit into a mold. They tell us to follow the script, hide our edges, and blend in. Teaching is a tattoo. Discover the stories of educators who refuse to hide. Own who you are. Read Teaching is a Tattoo today.
Like
Exactly.
the
No, it's
more we
true.
collect the stories of other people in our travels, the deeper we become as humans, right? So,
Yeah. Now, I would like to invite you to help me now. I need your help. Would you please
okay,
share your details of the book?
okay.
Where can people actually get the book? Because, I would like to do this service because I love what I do. I'm a teacher. I got a tattoo, and I think we all deserve to be heard and respected as well. We're all teachers. We have stories behind. We have all stories. And I think this book is a really, I would actually say it has to be like kind of a required reading for every
Oh,
teacher
thank
in every teacher preparation program. Because
Oh, well,
it
thank you. That's really kind
I
of you to
I
say.
believe so. I believe so because it is part of us. I mean, we gotta accept who we are and be empathetic as well with the others. So how can people
Mm.
get this book? Because this podcast actually, thank God, it goes worldwide. I got people actually from Argentina, Patagonia, all the way to Australia. So how can they actually get this book? Are you in Amazon? Is it your website? How can they get it?
Well, this is where I feel very, very blessed. Like I feel blessed for a lot of reasons, for the wonderful people at Dave Burgess Consulting. Like DBC Inc. has been so good for me, and they have been a great platform for a lot of teachers telling a lot of great stories like this too. And the reason I feel thankful for that is because I'm so bad at logistics like this, and there are some really wonderful humans who are doing exceptional logistical work through their publishing services, which
Mhm.
is I just love them so much. So you can get the book on Amazon, for sure. It is definitely there. There are a couple of different local bookstores who carry them in the States as well, which is nice. um you can get it on the website as well, daveburgessconsulting.com. There's like a whole list of books, and there's also some like you questions that go along with the books there
Mhm.
as well. So like there's different types of questions that people can do with their staff and things like that as well. Because I've had a lot of people who have wanted to do this as a I was actually just talking with somebody the other day who wanted to do this as like a full school read for like all their
Oh,
teachers, which is lovely. And I love to connect with people as well and sort of chat with those staffs of people who are collectively reading the book and having conversations like that. But I think the easiest way to get it is probably Amazon. That's
that's the easy way.
yeah, I mean that is the easy way to get it.
Yeah, and I'm asking you. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off right now. I'm asking you about this because some time ago I was actually also talking with Tisha Richmond, and she also has her book, Make Learning Magical. And I
It's
wanted to
great
get
book.
it so bad, and I couldn't get it here in China. There was a problem actually with the Kindle or with the Amazon stuff and all that because of the internet and all that that has been blocked and all that. So I was a little bit curious about it. That's why I'm asking you about it because it was quite hard actually.
Hmm,
It was quite challenging for me to get it. So that's why. Not only in dayburgessconsulting.com, but also on Amazon, right? In both platforms. Those are actually
absolutely.
worldwide.
Absolutely. Yeah. Both of those
Okay.
platforms, you can order them. Both of those platforms, super easy to order. And if you are looking to order in bulk, like if someone is an administrator and is looking to order for their whole staff and their whole team, they do that through Dave Burgess Consulting Inc. as well.
Oh, all right.
Because there's a couple of people who look after bulk orders there, and so if you wanted to, get a bunch of copies for a block of people that you love, then that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, great.
But yeah, you're right. The Amazon thing is international as well. So
Yeah. Yes, it is international. However, not as much as we think sometimes. But anyway, I will actually just try it again. I could
yeah,
actually
and
get it.
I
I
mean,
bought actually the book through Amazon.
oh, great,
Yours? Yes, I got it. The digital version I got. So
great, thanks.
I got that one, but I couldn't actually get the hardcover one. I wanted to get the physical one, but I couldn't get it.
Well, I am on I guess it's called X now,
Oh, X, yeah.
formerly Twitter, I guess.
Yeah.
So I am on X. If people wanted to connect with me through there, you can send me a message, and I'm happy to send out books if there are places where people can't get books to. Um, that's
Yes.
that's no problem at
Awesome.
all.
Awesome.
My X handle, my Twitter handle, I guess it is at urpoetry edu, all one
Okay.
word. So urpoetry edu, which is a shout out to the first book that I had put together. So,
Awesome.
um,
So it
yeah,
would
so
be good if you
you
can
can hit
actually
me up
just
on
send
both.
all those links, and I'm gonna actually just hang in here in the description of this episode, so
Great.
everybody listening can just go to the description and click in the link and get everything or read or contact you.
We'll send as many links as we possibly can and get
Yeah,
people connected
all
as
of them.
as much as possible.
Yes, all the platforms because people are in different platforms. So yeah, some of them are actually
Love it.
on WhatsApp. Some other ones are in WeChat in China, for example, or Kakao Talk,
Mm.
and so many of them. But anyway,
See,
yeah,
and I'm
and
I'm
I'm
so
gonna
low tech that I'm so low tech that some of these I'm hearing for the first time. You could be inventing words right now, and I would have no idea. So I'm a very low tech person that way. So I'm a paper and pen kind of guy, but yeah.
me too. There's no other option, man. No other option. So yeah, and I'm gonna actually just
Yeah,
put
I
this one
know.
in one of the
Absolutely.
I'm gonna actually just make a little bit of a video about this one because I think it's, as I told you before, I think it's really worth reading it. So I'm just gonna make a little video about it, and I'm gonna be doing a congress, like 3 days ELT congress. So I'm gonna just put it there, and I'm gonna advertise it there within these 3 days. This is a really good one.
Well, I really appreciate that. I mentioned to you, like there are teachers, but there are also teachers who want to read books like this just to get new activities for the classroom. The book is full of like if you don't have time to is full of activities that you can just photocopy and just run with on a Monday morning too,
Oh,
because the idea here is that it's not just about teacher stories and how to sort of bring yourself most authentically into the learning. It's about making space for students to do the same. So like there's a big section in every single chapter where there are activities. It's I call it the Ink Think Ask section, where it's like at the end of every chapter there's like here's photocopiable things that you can do for your classroom that are going to be uh they're going to sort of do the same work as what a tattoo would do, right? Asking
Exactly.
students about their story, asking colleagues about their story, creating space where they can be seen uh, in in a way that's, some of them are too young to have tattoos, right? For sure.
Yeah.
So like making space for them to sort of tell their story um, in a way that's really accessible, right? In a way
Mhm.
that's really sort of like just Monday morning stuff. Like if you pick this book up on a Sunday afternoon, you could have stuff that would be ready to go for Monday morning right away.
Cool. Awesome. Well, it's been actually really cool to find all these details about the book and all what you've done, all your beautiful work there. That's really worth actually reading it, and it's amazing.
Thank
So
you.
we're actually heading towards the end of this wonderful conversation, and I would like to actually just do a rapid fire set of questions, a quick round. I would like
Okay,
you to help me
goodness.
out by answering with one word, please. The
One
first thing that
word.
comes to
Oh,
your mind. Yes.
as somebody who talks too much, this is going to be very hard for me, but yeah,
Okay, there's always a challenge. So,
I'll do my best.
one word that defines a great teacher. Ooh, we started hard, right?
I'll say love. uh
Good.
because that has so many different facets to it. You got to love what you do, but you gotta love the people around you for who they are too. So as long as you bring love to the work, uh love for the material, love for the students, love for your colleagues, love for what it is what we do. It might be a little cheesy and overly positive, but I think the singular word that makes a great teacher is love. You got to bring love to the work.
And that's it. I
And
agree
for
with you.
yourself, darn it, you know?
Yeah. One book every educator should read.
One book every educator should read.
Come on. That's easy. That's easy.
I should I say my
Let
own
me let
book?
me
Is
give
that
you let me
cheesy?
give you
Yeah, teaching is a tattoo. I've heard it's wonderful. No, I that one's tough because I tell my students all the time, uh developing your ability to have things that you like and don't like is really important. So I hate to have like a singular book that people should read. Um, I think you should read as much as you possibly can, but I think you should develop opinions on things. You should be able to say this is why I love this or this is why I don't like this, and because that just teaches people more about who you are, which is great. So, but I
I
guess yeah, if I'm allowed, I'll say my book. That's it's cheesy and ugly, but
No,
sure,
that's
yeah.
perfect. So now, what's something school should stop doing immediately?
Um, okay. Am I only get one word on this one too, or?
Well, let's try to make it sure then.
I think something that schools should stop doing immediately is uh, choosing the wrong hill to die on. There's an old
Oof.
expression that's like, is this the hill you want to die on? I
Mm,
think that there's a lot of school rule and regulations stuff that's set in a sort of space of like, is this really the thing that matters most? Like you're sending sort of the wrong message. I think a lot of problems could be solved by like really asking yourself the question, is this about care or is this about control? Like something as simple as like some schools have very, very strict hat policies, and other schools are like, yeah, it's fine. You can wear a hat. You just look up every now and again, and you're like,
yeah.
that's fine. And I have seen uh, things be a lot smoother in schools that maybe don't care so much about a hat policy and care more about how are we taking care of the humans in the building? So I think the thing that schools need to stop doing right away is maybe dying on some foolish hills and not helping kids up others,
Mm, definitely. So,
choose the battles and fight them
yes,
hard.
exactly. Choose your battles, exactly. So let's complete now. Let's do a complete the sentence, okay?
Okay.
Education is,
Uh Exciting.
and teaching is.
Like teaching is universal. Yeah. I think people forget that. Like it's not always just about the fact that we have teaching degrees, but like uh, my grandfather, barely made his way out of high school and taught me more about life than I could ever hope from anybody else, you know? And it's little things like that. Like teaching is universal. Every single one of us gets to be a teacher and gets to be a student at some point in our life. So, uh, it's a real privilege to be a classroom teacher, but we can't forget that some of the best teachers don't have any degrees. Yeah.
Definitely. So, Mike, this has been an incredible conversation. I gotta say, thank you so
Oh,
much for sharing your experiences, your wisdom, and the powerful message
thanks, boss. Appreciate it.
behind teaching is at a two. I truly believe this conversation will inspire educators, teachers worldwide. And I really hope
Oh, thanks,
everybody can
boss.
actually just go knock on the door and say, "Hey, I would like to have that book. I want to check that out." And to everyone listening, if today's conversation resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe on the Languages Pedagogy Podcast. Follow Mike. Wonderful guy, wonderful person, wonderful teacher,
Thank you.
great author. Any last words that you would like to share?
Uh, no, I just appreciate the conversation, and I think uh that if one thing, people take away from this is that like whether you're an educator in the classroom or whether you're an administrator or whether you're just a human person, the message is always like just see the value in yourself and bring that to the things that you do because the more you do that, the more you give permission to other people to do that too. So the more people can value each other, the more we're gonna work forward together and grow together, like people don't have to think the same as you or be the same as you, but as long as you're making space to value every other human around you, you're gonna learn something, you're gonna teach something, and that's how the whole big blue green marble that we're on just keeps spinning. So that's great.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mike, again. And until next time, this is your home. Anytime that you would like to come and share, if there's any other book coming, hey, we gotta be the first one here,
Will do,
huh?
boss. Will do. Thanks for
All
letting me.
right.
Thanks for letting me come,
Thank you.
Matt. Thank you.